All right, so today we're going to be diving into Flex AI. And I think what really caught my attention with this company is they were founded in Paris just last November.
Wow.
And they just pulled in a massive seed round of $30 million this past April. So, I mean, right off the bat, that kind of early stage investment definitely piques the interest. So let's figure out what are they doing that's got these investors so excited?
Yeah, so I think what's so interesting here is the core idea. It's a workload as a service platform, or WAS. And so you can kind of think about this as taking the complexity out of actually running AI, right? So they handle everything like from training your AI model to fine-tuning it all the way to getting it ready for real-world use, what we call inference. And yeah, I think the big picture goal here is to remove all those infrastructure headaches that so often come with AI development.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty appealing idea, right? Simplifying the technical side. But there's so much going on in this space and AI infrastructure. So what makes Flex AI different? What's their kind of secret sauce? What's the innovation?
Yeah, so there are a few really smart angles they're taking with this. So first, they use what they call proven recipes for common AI tasks, like say you wanted to set up a chatbot. These recipes are basically pre-optimized blueprints, and I think the idea there is they can save you a lot of that initial setup and a lot of trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the second thing is their platform is actually intelligent enough to decide where to run your AI.
Yeah.
So whether that's on your own servers or maybe across different cloud providers, and this decision is made based on factors like, how fast you need things to run or how much it's going to cost. So you can kind of think of it as automatic resource optimization.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the idea of that automatic selection, I mean, it's super compelling. And I understand they also really push this idea of scaling your AI workloads easily and handling any technical hiccups automatically so you don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. And perhaps one of the things that makes them so different, for you as a listener, if you're out there thinking about your options in the AI world, they're really strongly against vendor lock-in, right? So their platform is designed to work across all the major cloud providers like, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, as well as your own private infrastructure if you want. And then they also support, a really wide range of hardware. So everything from, the big names like NVIDIA, AMD, to things like AWS own chips, and even newcomers like Tenstorrent. So that gives organizations, a lot of flexibility, a lot more negotiating power.
Right. So they're really positioning themselves as this kind of neutral Switzerland, if you will, in the AI infrastructure space. But what about their size? Are we talking about a huge, massive operation here?
Well, no, they're still relatively early stage. Their team is around 45 employees.
Okay.
So that kind of gives you a sense of scale, right?
Yeah.
A focused team, but with some serious backing.
Right. A smaller but well-funded team with some really interesting technology. So with all of that in mind, what problems are they actually hoping to solve, for their customers? What are those pain points?
Yeah, well, I think they're hitting some of the biggest bottlenecks in the AI world.
Hmm.
So one is just the limited availability of computing power, right?
Right.
So Flex AI offers this on-demand access to all sorts of different resources to address that.
Right.
And they're also, I think, trying to ease the pressure of the global AI skills shortage that we've all been hearing so much about. And so the way they're doing that is by simplifying workload management and allowing developers to really focus more on the AI itself.
Hmm.
And then finally, I think they're streamlining the deployment process. So deploying AI across different environments can be super complex, but they've got this intelligent orchestration layer that simplifies it.
Makes sense. It really sounds like at the end of the day, they're trying to make AI more accessible to a much wider range of companies, right? And so I guess the question is, who are these organizations, these companies that are really going to be looking to Flex AI? Who's their customer?
Yeah, so while they haven't publicly named any specific clients, they're focused on this flexibility and avoiding vendor lock-in. It suggests that they're going after enterprises that are pretty serious about AI, but at the same time, want to maintain that control over their infrastructure.
Hmm.
So they don't want to be tied to a single provider's ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I think often these are companies with, a really long-term AI strategy in mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we also know a bit about their leadership, and it sounds like they have some serious experience, right?
Oh, absolutely. So the
Yeah.
co-founders, you've got the CEO, Brajesh Tripathi, and the CTO, Dolly Kalani, and they both come from these really impressive backgrounds at like major tech players. So we're talking companies like Apple, Intel, NVIDIA, Tesla,
Yeah.
and having that kind of background in both hardware and software development,
Yeah.
it really adds a lot of weight to their vision.
Yeah. So to kind of recap here, FlexAI is this relatively new company based in Paris, and they're focused on making AI workload execution as simple as possible through their WAS platform. And it seems like their biggest strengths are these optimization techniques, the intelligent deployment, the scalability, and then that real commitment to being vendor neutral across both cloud and hardware. And right now, they're a smaller team, but really well funded, and they're aiming to solve these critical issues around compute access, skills gaps, and deployment complexity for organizations that are looking for, really flexible AI infrastructure.
Yeah, precisely. You can think about them as almost smoothing the path to wider AI adoption by getting rid of a lot of those underlying infrastructure complexities.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, for you, the listener out there, I think this all raises a really interesting point about what the future holds for AI infrastructure. If we move toward more flexible and vendor agnostic solutions like the one Flex AI is offering, what kind of impact is that going to have on the pace of innovation? And how accessible is AI going to become for all businesses, not just the massive ones? So, that's something to think about for sure. And that wraps up our deep dive on Flex AI for today. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow evening.